Panthers fans, we just learned a lot about the direction of your Carolina Panthers in the 2026 NFL offseason after Dan Morgan and Dave Canales spoke at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis, talking free agency, the draft, any moves they might make this offseason. So we're going to break down the biggest news nuggets from those pressers on today's show. But before we do, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We're uploading Panthers content like nobody else all offseason long, plus Combine coverage. It's going to continue during the week. People are going to take interviews with the Carolina Panthers. We're going to let you know who that is. Anytime there's a trade rumor that's popping up, we're going to bring it to you here on the channel. And it's an interactive YouTube channel as well, so we always want to hear from you guys. Go down below, hit the like button, get in the comments section, and subscribe today for more Panthers content on your YouTube feed every single day. And if you missed the interviews that we posted on the channel yesterday, because we're not going to be able to get to everything on today's video, you can go back and look at Dave Canales' full press conference. You can go back and look at Dan Morgan's full press conference. I put the links to those videos down in the description of today's video. So if you missed something or we don't talk about something on the show that you want to know about, you can go check out those videos as well here at Panthers Today. All right, so let's get into this major Panthers news here and a massive change for Dave Canales. I put it in the headline of yesterday's video. Dave Canales will be giving up play calling. Now, I did predict a while back that if this were to happen in the middle of the season, it would actually go to Darrell Bevel, who they just brought in as a senior offensive assistant. But it will be offensive coordinator Brad Idzik who will take over play calling for the Carolina Panthers here. Idzik, 34 years old, a young guy. He's going to bring some new, fresh ideas, but he and Dave Canales do go way back. So it's going to be the same sort of philosophy, but maybe different play calling that could elevate this offense. Canales said this about making the move. This is something that all of us collectively have talked about as an organization. It was my idea to come up with this. Brad's continuity with the system, his continuity with the players, being able to do that, I believe, will be the best thing for us moving forward. And like I said, this is a relationship that has gone back years at this point, dating back all the way to 2019 when Idzik was brought on to the Seattle Seahawks staff. He and Dave Canales were part of those offensive assistants up until Dave Canales gets promoted to offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Idzik follows him there and then followed him to Carolina as the offensive coordinator since Dave Canales has gotten this job. And now a new promotion for Brad Idzik here. He's really becoming a name that is appearing on people's radars as a young, bright offensive mind here. And I say young, he's 34 years old. I know Canales is in his early 40s, but this is a guy who we could see some new age, modern style of play calling in. So I'm really excited to see this Carolina offense just look a lot more creative than it did in 2025. Too often it was up, it was down, it was too conservative. And I know a lot of Panthers fans wanted Dave Canales to give up play calling. Now you got your wish. Canales said more about the change here. There were quite a few moments, Canales said, when asked if there was a specific time when he felt play calling got in the way of him challenging a penalty. To have conversations that way, making game management decisions, you can imagine it's a challenge to call plays and do those things. I was accepting of that challenge. But it goes beyond that. It's also being able to affect and impact your players, really live as guys come on and off the field, to be able to connect with them. This is something I know fundamentally can help this player. Let's not wait until Monday. So really, Dave Canales took this, I guess you could call it a demotion, but really a change in the coaching staff here because he wants to be more of a CEO. He wants to be dealing with the game management stuff. He wants to be able to put his best foot forward in all aspects of what the team does. However, there is something to be said about a guy who was brought in and hired as the head coach because of his play calling. Not all the way, obviously. They still believe he could be a good CEO, but a big reason why was because he took the Tampa Bay offense to the next level. He was a guy who was a reclamation project for quarterbacks like Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield. He was brought in because of that stuff. And now he has to give that up? There is something to be said about that, certainly, so I will be watching very, very closely to how this offense operates in 2026. Is it right for Dave Canales to give up play calling and take more of a full, 53-man game management approach? Why for yes and for no? What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments section. Next up, Andy Dalton. Because, of course, one of the biggest stories coming out of the Combine for the Carolina Panthers is the backup quarterback, Andy Dalton, who we have talked about as a trade candidate, as a cut candidate. The Panthers would save money moving off of him. And this isn't just a regular rumor. The top NFL insider in the world, Shefty, he has this saying another available quarterback. Carolina has been getting calls about Andy Dalton for a potential trade. I wonder who's been bringing that up on the channel. We know he's been a trade candidate for a while, and we know we've heard from Dan Morgan that the Panthers want to go younger, more athletic at the quarterback spot. So Andy Dalton, nearly 40 years old at this point, he can go help another team who wants more of a pocket passing veteran leader as their backup quarterback here. We know they want to go younger and more athletic. That's quite the opposite of Andy Dalton at this point. Plus, you save $2.2 million if you trade him. It's about a $200,000 difference if you were to straight up cut him here. And look, I'm not going to expect any big return for Andy Dalton either. It's likely just going to be Andy Dalton plus a 7th-round pick for a 6th-round pick. Or it could even be something as simple as Andy Dalton for a 7th-round pick. Like it might not even be a pick swap worthy because he's not good anymore, guys. Like anytime he's been thrown out there over the past 2 seasons, he's been pretty brutal, and it's just time for the Panthers to find a new QB2 here. Good to know that teams are calling on Andy Dalton for a trade, though. Next up, attacking the linebacker position. I'm fired up about that, guys. It has been my number one priority of the offseason to solidify that linebacker room and bring in a blue-chip talent at the off-ball backer spot. And Dan Morgan, he's taking that advice. He's saying, in terms of free agency and the draft, I think it's a position we will try to attack. We're looking for guys that are leaders, that are playmakers, and that our culture fits for us. So we're excited about attacking that and putting the work in. I'm so pumped up about this, guys. It was a big-time deficiency on the Panthers defense last year, not being able to cover the middle of the field, just not having the most talented group of inside linebackers. And for those of you who are big-time Christian Rozeboom fans, he was brought in as a depth piece behind Josie Jewell before he got cut. So he wasn't ever really brought in to be the full-time starter at that off-ball backer spot. And now that they're looking to pursue more talent in that area, there is so many talented players out there for the taking, whether it comes to the draft or free agency. There's legit blue chippers out there. Specifically in the draft, the Panthers are already getting in the meeting room with a couple of big-time names that are slated to go in the first round. Sonny Styles, the creme de la creme of inside linebackers in the 2026 NFL Draft. The Panthers will likely have to trade up to get him, but I'll tell you what, it would be worthwhile, man. He's a natural-born leader, super pro-ready, and he already met with Carolina, man, so there's certainly some mutual interest there, and I wouldn't be mad at all if Carolina moved up to go get him. C.J. Allen is a guy who will be a little bit more in the Panthers' range at 19, and I wouldn't be mad if they took him either. He was a natural-born leader. A lot of people talked about him really just dictating the entire defense. Only time that calls were brought into his helmet was when the defense coordinator at UGA wanted to throw a specific schematic thing in there. But more often than not, C.J. Allen was commanding that entire defense. That's a natural-born leader, and he had a meeting with the Carolina Panthers as well in Indianapolis. In terms of free agents, here's a couple of names that the Panthers could go after, and I'm not really looking much further than Devin Lloyd, man. He's going to command a big-time payday. The Jags, I know, want to bring him back, but probably aren't going to be able to. And other teams around the league are going to be throwing big-time numbers at Devin Lloyd. He can cover. He can defend the run. He's a leader. He fits everything that you want in a green dot guy. Devin Bush and Nakobe Dean, very solid younger players as well. Devin Bush has kind of resurrected his career a little bit. Nakobe Dean, injuries have plagued him, and he's a little bit more raw, but he took great strides in 2025. And then Leo Chenal of the Kansas City Chiefs, he's an interesting player as well. Very good head on his shoulders and is a high IQ player. But is he the most talented physically? Just not as much as maybe the guys ahead of him on that list. Also, if the Panthers wanted to go out there and make a trade for an inside linebacker, well, there is a hot name out there. Ian Rappaport reporting the Bears have given Tremaine Edmonds permission to seek a trade, a standout linebacker potentially available. I doubt it would go for much. I think he would be somewhere in the realm of a day 3 pick for Tremaine Edmonds. So if the Panthers are seeing that as a worthwhile investment, a guy who's played really, really well in this league, I would go after it. But there's a lot of options out there. Very, very talented linebackers this offseason. With that being said, comment 1 down below. Comment the linebacker the Panthers should target and add to their defense this offseason. It could be via the draft, free agency, or via trade. Just comment the name down below. Some free agent updates. Speaking of free agency, let's talk about the Panthers free agents and who they have coming off of their books for 2026. In terms of some key Panthers free agents here, Rico Dowdle's obviously the guy who's going to generate a lot of buzz, the highlight name, the fantasy football player out of this group. Cade Mays, though, he's the one that's going to be getting the biggest payday out of all 8 that you see on your screen right now. DJ Woonham, I mean, he's just not that good, in my opinion. Brady Christensen, depth offensive line piece. Nick Scott started at safety. A lot of Panthers fans don't want him to start at safety anymore. We'll see if they bring him back. I think it would be in a reduced role. Same thing goes for Christian Rozeboom. A lot of Panthers fans actually liked him, but I don't think he's good enough to be the starting off-ball backer on this team. If he's a depth piece, I think it's really good. Yash Neiman might need to be brought back to be the swing tackle, maybe the stopgap for the Ike Ekwonu injury. And then Sam Martin, as the punter, had the highest punt average yards per play last season. I would go out there and bring him back as well. All right, so in terms of the real big name cats and what the Panthers have said about them, Rico Dowdle is going to be testing free agency. Dan Morgan came out and said they're going to let him test free agency, see what his market is, but they are open to a reunion. However, we also know that Rico Dowdle has come out and said that he doesn't want to be taking a back seat or share carries much in 2026. He wants to be the bell cow. He's put up 2 1,000-yard seasons, and he wants to get his opportunity. I don't know if that'll be with the Carolina Panthers, considering they just called Chuba Hubbard a bona fide RB1 in this league. All right, Cade Mays. He's expected to get significant interest around the league, and I'm not so sure the Panthers are going to be able to bring him back. He's already generating interest reportedly from the Detroit Lions. I know people have predicted him going to the New York Jets. He could be seeing a payday in the realm of 12, 13, 14, $15 million a season. The Panthers want to pay that. I would do it. He was really solid in 2025, and I think he's going to get a lot better. That deal could end up looking like a bargain. Lastly, on today's show, the Bryce Young element of it all, because we're kind of going to circle back to this part here with the play calling change. It means a lot for Bryce Young, guys, in terms of him developing and getting to the next level heading into year 4. This is a situation where we're going to need Bryce Young to take this change in stride. Now, in his rookie year, he goes out and has one offensive coordinator, play caller. Then Dave Canales for the past 2 seasons. And then now it's going to be Brad Idzik. So it's a big-time change. 3 different play callers in the first 4 seasons. It's something you're going to have to adjust to. And I think Bryce is up to the task. Brad Idzik said this on Bryce Young. He said he was excited. I told him how jealous I was that he was in California right now and couldn't wait to link back up. So we know that Bryce is excited about this change of the offensive coordinator spot. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like he would say, oh, he was disappointed. Yeah, he said, oh, you suck. Like, he's not going to do that. But it seems like there is a good relationship there between Idzik and Bryce Young. More from Brad here on the quarterback. I'm there in the meeting rooms. When you're the head coach, you get pulled away to you media guys. You get pulled away for a bunch of different things you have to do as a head coach. But just being in tune and in touch with all those small moments that happen throughout the day, I'm there for him. We had a great dialogue throughout the seasons as they go and throughout this offseason. Look, for Bryce's sake, this better be a good pairing. He's heading into year 4. Yes, they accepted the 5th-year option on him, but this guy's looking for a contract extension next offseason. He's going to have to go out there and play much better than he did in 2025, which wasn't bad, but it wasn't a quarterback who elevated the talent around him. Bryce Young is a guy who needs talent around him in order to succeed and needs to be protected, and he was that in 2025. It needs to be taken to the next level next season. He's going to take it. He has to take another step. Like, I'm going to need to see him pushing the ball down the field a little bit more. I'm going to need to see a little bit more zip on that ball in general. Like, he just has to become a top half quarterback in this league. And I think the Carolina Panthers will be in a really good spot considering just how well they are coached up and down the roster. Canales said this about Bryce Young and the strides that he's taken. I love the strides we've taken in terms of the operation, how he gets up there, makes great calls, fixes our protection problems, finding solutions in areas where we've talked about to take advantage of coverages, takes advantage of different fronts of run plays, and just wanting Bryce to continue to grow in the ownership of those things. Because there are more opportunities for Bryce to affect the game at the line of scrimmage, and I want to continue to build off of that. I'm telling you guys right now, I think the best is yet to come for Bryce Young. It better be, because look, even though he was successful last year, Panthers were still under 500. His numbers were still not that great. Got to go out there and be better. You're the number 1 overall pick. Everybody's talked about how accurate of a quarterback that you are since you were at Alabama. Go out there and take the next step for 2026. Got a new play caller to help you do it. What's your confidence level in Bryce Young? Comment down below. Scale it. 1 being no confidence at all. This is not the franchise QB. 100 being hell yeah, he is the franchise QB. He might just lead us to a Super Bowl. Comment down below what you guys think. That will do it for today's show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. YouTube.com/Panthers today for the latest and greatest on your Carolina Panthers all off season long. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, keep pounding.